Well, this is continuing with the PM-2. I was able to get these guys to mount the board. And here's the high voltage capacitor with their bleeders. I did this all by hand. Made some islands, drilled some holes. Checked it out, make sure there was no short between them. And that mounts right here. I'm going to leave the clips there because it doesn't bother. Plenty of room to put the speaker back in. The other one was the low voltage 275 volt filter cap here. I was going to cut it, or take it out. I decided with a little brainstorming, I looked underneath, and there's some room, and I'll show you that in a second. And here's the capacitor unit for the low voltage with the bleeder resistor. So my thinking is, well, let me show you one. Turn it upside down, what's underneath. This is the original point-to-point wire, and these is the high voltage bridge circuit. And this is the low voltage bridge circuit. And here's the bleeder resistor. Not the bleeder resistor is over here. Pretty hot resistor that I guess they put the best as originally. And then again, I'm going to replace this board. But the low voltage capacitors were right in here in these clips. And this is the bleeder resistor for them. So my thinking is I'm going to put capacitors right in here, like so. And I'm going to take this, where is that turbo? Yeah. This terminal, that's not used. I'm going to cut it off since it's an L shape. And I'm going to make a hole, rivet it, and then, well, I'll solder the other end right to the negative ground right here, which is against the bulkhead. Like so, off the chassis. Although, because both of these are grounded, doesn't really make if they rest on the chassis or not. But I'll put it up against the chassis and then weld it in place. I mean, rivet it and solder in place. There's plenty of lead length from the old capacitor. This side goes to the choke, and the choke. This goes to the low voltage bridge rectifier, and this one goes to pin 1 out, 275. Now, I was able to pick up a well-populated board with the ports in there way back when. Still in the shrink wrap. And that's going to go right here, just like that. Has matching holes, etc. So the next item is to just weld the solder the wires underneath. Rivet that L, solder it, solder this in place. The high voltage capacitors, runs them in there, wire the new board here, and that's pretty much it. It's not a very complicated power supply. Primary, you could set it for 220 or 110 with that switch that we showed you before. And there's a speaker circuit and nothing to do with it. So you got a primary, and one of the secondary goes with that from the bridge, goes into the high voltage capacitors with bleeders. That's 800 volts. Then the other part of the secondary goes to another bridge, goes to choke, those capacitors that I just was mentioning. And that goes to 275 volts. Another secondary set of bridge rectifier, just a rectifier variable resistor to adjust the bias from minus 80 to minus 90, and then two black wires for the 6.3 volt for the heaters. These two here are switched from the on and off switch on the KWM2. And to test all this, I will be doing is shorting this out and taking measurements. And that'll be the next video. I'll have it all wired up, and then I'll start, we'll record if anything goes wrong, or just check the voltages. As a comment, some people use a Heathkit power supply, and they use an additional 12 volt transformer. I'm not sure why, because looking at this is only 6.3 volts. But in any event, that's another story. I have a couple of Heathkit power supplies that I'll be recapping, and I'll be using one of those instead of the 516 F2 supply, because the 516s F2 without a cabinet, they're up into the $250 range, and don't want to pay that much for something that'll be hidden away or on the floor. So I got a couple power supplies for the price of one 516 F2. Got two power supplies for that price, and I will work with that. But in any event, that's all right. In the next video, hopefully everything is all done. Bye.